Hello, and welcome to This Week in Horse Racing. This is Billy Ho Sports. Thanks for joining me. This episode, we're recapping the Labor Day weekend racing. Both the East and West Coasts will hit Saratoga, will hit Del Mar, and my home state of Kentucky. We had some big turf action right on the Nashville, Tennessee border down there in Franklin, Kentucky. So the Saratoga meet does wrap up today. Labor Day. Happy Labor Day, everyone. Hope you're enjoying this. It's a beautiful day here in Louisville, Kentucky. Couldn't ask for a better day. The Hopeful Stakes is the last major stakes. It's a 2-year-olds, kind of a preview for maybe some up and coming Derby trailers, possibly. Who knows? I have a preview video out for that race, so be sure to give it a look. So, viewer support is obviously very important to me. And so I ask you, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Also, clicking that like button every time goes a long way into spreading the content. And comments, always encouraged. So let's start on Friday with a kind of a big day for Flavian Pratt, setting the Saratoga record for stakes wins. I think he hit number 16 aboard West Hollywood in the Grade 3 Saranac Stakes. It was a bittersweet win as it was marred by a tragic breakdown of the pace setter Big Torpedo, who suffered a catastrophic leg injury, which was the very first one of the Saratoga meet. So I think that they're going a long way into doing a better job of protecting the horses. But unfortunately, it does happen no matter how safe you can try to be. So Big Torpedo goes down, takes out another horse as well. But both jockeys and the other horse was okay. Big Torpedo, unfortunately, didn't make it, obviously. But he was on the lead with an eighth of a mile to go. And Pratt was kind of moving past with West Hollywood 5 wide into the upper stretch anyway. So I think he likely would have won the race. But he wins. And just how good has he been? Well, he's carrying a 22% win rate for just 2024 in general, averaging $30,000 per start. And that's about $10,000 more than Irad Ortiz earns per start, which he is doing in less mounts, by the way. So that brings us to Saturday over at Kentucky Downs, the Nashville Derby Invitational, worth a purse of $3.1 million. There was a huge day at Kentucky Downs. And I really do like that race course that's got that kind of European turf feel, and it's not the traditional oval like we see in other tracks. So it was a pretty strong field, and obviously the turf master, Frankie Dettori, wins the race aboard Bellum Justum, edging clear of Joel Rosario on one of the favorites, Carson's Run. Just you can't say enough about Frankie Dettori. You get him on the grass, and I almost just blind bet him every time because he seems to be able to get the best out of any horse, and he just has such great timing on the turf, and it's really, really crucial to have that late timing coming down the stretch on the grass. So next up, they had the Philly Turf Sprint. That was won by a horse named A.G. Bullet. It was an absolute romp fest for jockey Umberto Rispoli, another jockey I really enjoy riding. He rides out on the West Coast more, like Santa Anita and places like that. But he's just good on both surfaces, dirt and turf. So he romps home with AG Bullet. And then the ladies' turf stakes was after that. And Brian Hernandez, another West Coast guy who just rides for Kenny McPeak. He rides all over the place, really. He's not just strictly hemmed in. I think I was probably thinking more of Juan Hernandez. But Brian Hernandez, aboard Walkathon, took the ladies' turf, 5-year-old mare trained by Ian Wilkes, 3 straight stakes wins for Walkathon. To complete a very, very good day of racing at Kentucky Downs. Then over at Saratoga Saturday, obviously fun and quite challenging day for handicapping. The day went from firm and fast to muddy and yielding. I mean, a downpour hit right in the middle of the afternoon, just before the string of stakes races were to be ran. So that led to obviously a couple of upsets. Race number 10 was not one of them, actually. Prioris, we saw the return of Brightwork successfully getting it done down the stretch for trainer John Ortiz. John's been kind of hinting around when to bring her back. So he finally picks this one, and it was the right move because she wins going down the stretch. And then after that race, into race 11 is when the track really took on a downpour. That led into the spinaway, which was on a muddy track. I was live for the pick three. I got the first two legs with beating favorites in both. And then, so I think I was looking at a pretty decent payout, even though I had the Queen's MG and Quiet Side, which were amongst the two favorites. So Queen's MG didn't work out so well, but Quiet Side I touted, and she took over in the stretch, was clear by a couple of lengths, but that rain was just coming down so immensely, and she just could not hold off. Manny Franco, 12-1, Immersive wins the race, and just a bit disappointing, but it wasn't like I got nipped by a photo finish. It was they clearly, I could see it coming, and you always know it's coming when you're looking at your horse and you're just praying it's holding on, and but deep down inside that it's not going to get there. But anyway, race 12 was the Grade 2 Flower Bowl going on a yielding turf by that point. So that's just how much the rain had affected the turf. It went from good to yielding in a matter of one race, basically. So I really kind of felt pretty good about Chad Brown's McCulloch on this type of surface, and he looked pretty good. But the other Chad Brown horse, Idea Generation, off at a whopping 31-1. They had no shot to catch her. She ran a 26 opening quarter, 52-second half mile loose on the lead. So when they hit the stretch, she had plenty of gas in the tank, extended the lead. McCulloch was in position coming around the turn, but kind of took a little bit of a stumble right at the top of the stretch. Lost a little momentum, but I don't think that she was going to get there anyway. Co-favorite Warlike Goddess did get up for second, just past McCulloch. So not only did I lose the money back special on McCulloch, I lost that. So I had an exacta using Idea Generation, but he was underneath in the second tier of the wheel. So I had obviously I had the two favorites, on top. Warlike Goddess and McCulloch were my two on top, and then I went two over like five, and Idea Generation was one of the ones underneath. And hindsight's always 2020. I don't normally flip them around like that, but the dollar exacta paid $155. So it just makes you think, well, what if I'd have just thrown in another $8 and just flip flop that bet and put the five on top and the two underneath, but hindsight's always 2020. So anyway, some redemption in the nightcap after that. Muddy off the turf track, race 13, where I dialed in on the main track only entry of Strapped that was 9-1 at the time. But then after the bets were in, it got bet all the way down to 6-5. So everybody jumped on the bandwagon there. So I went back and looked again, and I just found number one Over an Ollie to be an interesting horse at 7-1. I think 7-1, somewhere around that range. Inside Post was really good. That it looked like that was where the easier path to run on was, and just the connections and the way the horse set up looked good to me. So Over an Ollie did exactly what I was hoping for. Got the inside rail and took that rail trip all the way home, and then Strapped actually kind of plotted home to get second. So pretty good return on investment for this exacta as well. The dollar exacta in that one paid $25. So I'll take that. When I think I went two times. Anyway, I over $100. So it was pretty good week for me. Later that evening at Del Mar, they ran Pacific Classic, and that was kind of a dual disappointment, as Baffert didn't enter Muth, which I was already disappointed at. And then days before the race, Adair Manor didn't look so good, so he scratched her. And so that was I thought, well, I was kind of high on Il Miracolo. I thought this would be a good chance for him to win this, and boy, was I wrong. Il Miracolo never really in it from the beginning. Was just basically outran. But I did have a good feeling on Full Serrano, who ran really, really well in that race, took to the lead and was setting the pace and just really getting after it down the stretch. But here comes Mixto. And I just did not figure that, sometimes these horses are sitting on a big one, and Mixto caught him down the stretch. Didn't cost me anything, but pride. I just thought, I definitely had Full Serrano figured as a definite competitor and did not even think Mixto had a chance. So sometimes that happens. So brings us to Sunday at Saratoga. The older dirt males took center stage for the Jockey Club Gold Cup to witness DRF's number one older dirt male. My surprise, they update this every week or two or whatever. But if you Google DRF rankings, you can see they rank the horses in by division, and they do like a top 10 list, like older dirt males, uh, turf, sprinters, different categories of horses. So, to my surprise, Arthur's Ride, winner of the Whitney on August 3rd, which was basically his first major stakes win of any kind, vaulted right up to number one over National Treasure, over Senor Buscador, and over other older horses that have proven track records. And I just thought that was just too much recency bias and way too much of an impressive effort on the muddy track by Arthur's Ride for them to vault him up there like that. But that made him 4-5 chalk favorite on Sunday's Gold Cup. So I just looked for any way and every way to beat him. And so I ended up coming up with a money back special bet on Pyrenees, or Pyrenees, however you say it, because he was 10-1. So I thought, well, you need to come in first or second, only 7 horses in the race. So no third place reimbursement there. But I thought this horse has a chance to win. It's run some really strong finishes, and it really does have some good closing late pace numbers, like 110s, 108s, 112s. And so I made that bet. And obviously, Arthur's Ride took right to the lead as expected. 23.25 opening quarter. Highland Falls right on his hip, not letting up the pressure whatsoever. Tap it Trice 3.5 lengths back, like usual. Pyrenees was a few lengths further back than that. He was like 7 off the lead at that point, probably at the half mile, which was 47.67. Very pretty fast enough pace anyway. Highland Falls pressuring Arthur's Ride from the very get go. And I thought Pyrenees, if maybe would have been a little bit closer to the pace, could have made a difference. But Pratt arrested the lead from the Big Gray at the top of the stretch aboard Highland Falls and just took the victory on home. The final quarter went in a bit slower, 27 seconds, as Pyrenees was closing ground to get second. And then Disarm kind of doing his thing, plodding along there, and got third by a nose. And now I've basically seen enough of Tappet Trice to know he's kind of more pace dependent than anything. And I wanted to go back to a post that I made on X. By the way, at Billy Ho Sports on X, give me a follow over there, and you'll see every now and then I do have some posting about racing and content. So Monmouth Cup, previous race to that, I tracked Highland Falls in that race when I looked. And Florent Geroux was the jockey in that race, who had been the jockey in the 5 previous races. Tried to pass on the inside rail, and it wasn't there. And he got so dialed in on the being to the inside that he missed a wide open gap to get to the outside to make a rally, which could have possibly got him the win. So he steadies the horse and then just stays right on that inside path the rest of the way, and it really it looks like a lackluster effort by a chalky Highland Falls in that race. So that allowed Tappet Trice, obviously tracking Counter Spy's 49-second half mile, which I think that Tappet Trice is just kind of such a big lumbering horse that runs steady, good speed, but it's not super fast. So I think the slower pace allows Tapit Trice to compete better. That's why you didn't see him compete as well, I think, in the faster pace uh, Jockey Club. But anyway, Giroux checked up, lost the chance to mount any kind of rally in that race. So I think he was replaced. I can't say it was on purpose, but they put Pratt on. So I basically said in my video, I think that's going to make a big difference. The jockey switch to a better tactician makes better decisions, in my opinion. So you saw that decision to sit on the outside of the speed and not let him get loose. Smart move. And then brilliant ride by Pratt. Highland Falls showed his moxie down the stretch. So overall, it was a fantastic weekend for racing and betting. As I did again make a profit, and it's just kind of a humble brag in a way. I'm kind of just happy that I've really sharpened my skills making these videos for you. So I hope you're benefiting from them as well as I have. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you're smashing that like button, as I much appreciated. And as far as the comments go, if you have anything you'd like to see in future videos, let me know. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your Labor Day, and we will see you soon.